They are ready. They've trained over 120 miles a week for this competition, and they are confident and crafty. Also expect a very good performance from Portugal's Aurora Cunha, as well as maybe a dark horse challenge from Martha Cooksey from St. Louis. I'm here with Joan Benoit moments before the start. Joan, you've been a very tough competitor. What would you like to prove out there today?
I just want to be competitive with the leaders today. It's really hot here, and I think everybody will be looking to just run a good, solid race, and I think the records are going to have to wait for a cooler day.
Good luck, Joan. Back to you, Marty LaCory with Donna DeVerona.
We call it a mini marathon, but that is somewhat of a misnomer. It is really a 6.2-mile race.
Marty, there's been a change in the course. How is that going to affect competition?
Well, the first mile will definitely be faster. Last year they had to make some sharp turns shortly after the start to get into the park, but this year they go all the way up 26 blocks up Central Park West. Then it's very much downhill on the second mile. The third mile is also downhill until they get to 110th Street and Lenox Avenue. Then the third and fourth mile and the fifth mile are uphill. There are a lot of curves in the course, so you always have to be looking 100 yards ahead to see what's coming up. And in that last quarter of a mile, it really helps to know the last little crests that you have to fight, because in a close race, those last hills can really play a big part in who the winner is.
And always a tense moment before the start. Pretty soon the air gun will signal the beginning of the 15th running of the New York Mini Marathon. There, a shot of Ingrid Christensen, number 2, and Aurora Cunha from Portugal. It is hot here, you mentioned, Marty. 82 degrees with 53% humidity.
They have been warning the runners all morning for the last 3 hours to make sure that they do drink a lot, because it is very hot. It's hotter than last year when we thought it was also very hot. And for the top runners on the starting line now, they've got to change their strategy, because they know that a world record, which is what people have been talking about all week, is probably out of the question in these temperatures.
Of course, that world record held by Greta Weitz, who won this 5 times, 30:59.8. She opted not to compete here. Perhaps she's run too many races this year. And the defending champion, Francie LaRue Smith, decided to not enter 2 days before the race because of foot injuries. And right out ahead, Ingrid Christensen from Norway.
Well, Ingrid has been chasing Joan Benoit now since the '84 Olympics. Ingrid was third in the Olympics on a day much like this, when Joanie Benoit went out very fast in the heat and ran away from the pack. And it looks like Ingrid wants to get this shot at Joanie and make it very worthwhile. Ingrid and Joanie ran in the Chicago Marathon last year. Joan Benoit won that one. And then Ingrid won the Boston Marathon, and I think part of the reason she ran in Boston was she was hoping that Joan Benoit Samuelson would be there, but Joan had had foot surgery on both of her Achilles tendons and wasn't ready for Boston. But she is ready now, having set a couple of personal bests in the last couple of months.
Okay, that's the distance now that separates Ingrid Christensen and Aurora Cunha from Portugal. Aurora has 19 national championships in her country. She's a fantastic athlete, was third last year in this competition. Of course, now the weather a factor. Look at Ingrid. She looks smooth, controlled. Looks like she's taking in the in air as she runs along. Of course, the mass is behind, and there's so many in this race.
One thing to consider, that Ingrid Christensen has run many, many races, but this is her first time at the mini marathon, and she has never seen the excitement of this all-women's race. Just the number of motorcycles right next to her has to be something that she's not used to. And look at the pack that she is leading, and she has really opened up a quick, large lead.
And pretty soon she'll be, she's coming toward the 90th Street entrance into the park. That's the west side of Central Park, the oldest part of town. Looking good and strong behind her again, Marty, somewhere in that pack. The youngest runner, 6 years of age, the oldest, 75. The biggest age group here is the age group from 30 to 39. There's 2,860 odd of them.
And when the weather gets hot like this, Aurora Cunha always comes to mind as being tough. She is from Portugal, and a lot of people think she will do well. Joanie Benoit, another one that we can't yet pick out.
That was just a shot of 1,600 legs.
Well, there are a lot of legs, and it's an awesome sight. No matter how many races you see, you never get jaded to that gun going off and the power and the energy of thousands and thousands of people. And this year, those thousands will have a little bit better running room, because they're going to go for over a mile on Central Park West.
Okay, that's Ingrid Christensen, smooth, well ahead of the red of the pack. Aurora Cunha from Portugal leading the second place position.
Today, you're reaching out for the best things in life. And Mercury is reaching farther, too. You can see it in the sophisticated shape of the new Mercury Sable and all the Mercury cars. They're shaped to use the wind to help them hold the road, no matter how high you climb. Mercury, the shape you want to be in.
I don't believe this book. Jocks will eat Kellogg's cornflakes.
No pages, huh?
Yeah, Larry Bird eats them. The Larry Bird.
Are the Celtics?
And Jimmy Connors, Eric Dickerson.
How about Joe Montana?
My man.
Richard Gossage.
Goose.
It may surprise you who's eating cornflakes,
Joe Montana.
but not why. Great taste and solid nutrition. Make them a real breakfast winner.
Herschel Walker.
Fuzzy Zeller.
Pass the milk.
How about those Kellogg's cornflakes now?
To hit the right note on your personal computer, you've got to have the right personal printer. That's why IBM offers an ensemble of personal printers. For text, for color, for graphs, for pictures, for speed, for charts, for letter quality, for whatever you compose. IBM personal printers for the finishing touch.
This is the 15th running of the New York City Mini Marathon. Ingrid Christensen has pulled away from the pack as she comes around the loop on 110th Street. An easy run for her, it looks so far, well in control of her race.
This really the only very, very sharp turn on the course. It's the only point where the pack will get a chance to see some of the leaders as they double back. And Joan Benoit in the second pack there really got a good look at what's ahead of her for the next 3 miles, as Ingrid Christensen has run 4:54 miles to open up a big lead.
And that loop was about 300 yards long, so that gives her some indication of how far ahead she is. Earlier, Catherine Switzer visited with Ingrid, and she asked her where she wants to be and how she controls the race.
It's the best in the front, yes, because you feel you have your own pace if you run in the front. If you have somebody in front of you, it's maybe the person in front of you is having the pace.
And when I talked to her, Donna and Marty LaCour, there was no doubt in her mind that she would control the race. It was only a matter of who else would try to come with her. You know, the Norwegians have an expression, the train has left the station, which is just exactly what Ingrid has done. I think it's looking really too late for anyone else to catch her.
And by observing her, she runs the hills well and reads the track very well. This is the pack. Joan Benoit has now taken over the lead from Aurora Cunha, but Cunha's right on her. The lead in this pack means that she's second place. And then, of course, next to Joan Benoit is Mitty Hamrin from Sweden. She's the national champion in the 5,000. And up with the pack is Dark Horse that Kathy Switzer picked, Marty Cooksey.
Well, Marty has had a tough time the last couple of years, but has been running well recently. Joan Benoit has run well recently, and at 10 miles, Joni, who is number 4 on your screen, was just 10 seconds off the world record of Aurora Cunha, who is in blue and white right next to her. So they are both running well. Hamrin of Sweden, though, with a slight edge on this second pack for second place. And in the background, I see Margaret Gross Thomas. So the places for 2nd through 6th are far from over. It should be good racing there. But they have got to move. Somebody has to make a big move to go after Ingrid.
And of course, Ingrid Christensen's quite an individual in control of her life, and Catherine Switzer, you know her well because you talked to her.
Yeah, there's a great story about her. In 1983, Ingrid had been training especially hard, Donna, and after finishing very poorly in a very important race, she went to her doctor to find out if something might be wrong with her and discovered that she was 5 months pregnant. You know, like many thin and intensively trained female athletes, be they runners, swimmers, gymnasts, or ballet dancers, Ingrid had occasionally experienced amenorrhea, which is a change or temporary stop in her menstrual cycle. Well, obviously, it did not affect her fertility, and Ingrid continued to run, bike, and swim right up to the day of her birth. And after an early delivery, she was training again in 10 days, setting world records in a matter of months. The point is, Ingrid and many others maintain that it was the training she did during her pregnancy with the additional weight and body stress that has given her the strength to make her the athlete she is today. And she and her husband have a bonus, a very healthy little baby boy.
And of course, in the future, we have our own Evelyn Ashford, who won a gold medal in the Olympics, and Mary Decker, who are going to go on. They both are going to have children, and we'll see how they do in '88. Again, this is Marty Cooksey now ahead for second place position.
The Legs Mini Marathon is my chance to run with the best. I look forward to that. I may not finish first, but I always put my best foot forward. And that's important to me. The sense of accomplishment is so great, it makes me think there's nothing I can't do. And in the end, I always feel I've won.
Legs Pantyhose, sponsors of Legs Mini Marathon, the original road race for women. Who says women can't run the world?
Lyle Alzado just got tough.
Because I started using Tegrin medicated shampoo and stopped using Head and Shoulders. No more pretty shampoo for me. Tegrin's tough. 4 times tough. It's got a special ingredient that tackles not only your everyday dandruff, but all 4 major causes of flaking and itching. Tegrin does more than Head and Shoulders ever could. So for a man's...
And a woman.
Tough defense against dandruff. Get 4 times tough with Tegrin medicated shampoo.
Nowadays, it seems everybody's comparing himself to a banker. Savings and loan folks say they can give you financial counsel like bankers. And we're just like a bank. Stockbrokers say they can manage your transactions like bankers.
And we're just like a bank.
When others go so far to say they're like a banker, isn't it nice to know that the one helping you really is a banker? The only place you'll find a banker is the bank.
A message from America's full-service banks.
America loved Teddy Roosevelt so much, we named our most comforting companion after him.
We aren't building this country for a day. It is to last through the ages.
Rediscover his spirit. It will make you proud to be an American.
Tomorrow.
And that's Norway's Ingrid Christensen. She's ahead in the mini marathon, running a strong race, stopping at the water stops because it is hot, reading the road, running next to the side of the road when the course seems faster there. Here's the map.
She has the toughest part of the course behind her. She's gone through the tough hills, but right now Joan Benoit and Marty Cooksey are in the hills, and they are having a battle. They have just dropped Mitty Hamrin, who has now dropped back to 4th place, but they've been going stride for stride now. Here you have Marty Cooksey, who's been injured for the last couple of years with some stress fractures in her shins, but of the last 6 months has begun rising to the top. And we talked earlier about looking far ahead and watching how the curves are going. And you see Marty looking ahead and picking out her spot and her tact that she's going to run. Joni picked up on it a little bit later. And over the last 2 miles, this becomes very important.
Marty, you mentioned injuries. Joan Benoit has had difficulties with her tendons. In November, she had an operation. It seemed at the first part of this race it was hard for her to get her stride. And there are few athletes that can fully recover from an injury like that.
Joni's life story will contain 1 complete chapter on injuries and how to recover from them. Strangely enough, every time she's had operations, and it's been 2 or 3 times, the next year she has a better year. She just had her 2 Achilles operated in November, and she has come back and set 2 personal bests since then.
That's not exactly the case entirely with Martha Cooksey, though. She has had terrible injuries since 1979, and this year is only the first year that she's been coming back. One thing these two share in common, in addition to this battle right here, is Dr. Stan James, who's performed surgery on both of them.
Well, I surely think that Marty Cooksey has to be saying to herself, it's been so hard to get here. I'm finally healthy again, and now I've got a shot at getting the biggest scalp in American women's distance running. If she can manage to hold on and get by Joan Benoit Samuelson, she will have really advanced her career again, and she is 32 years old, so she would like to get back to the top and prove that she is not out yet. Joni definitely taking water. Everyone seems to be getting as much water as they can. They all soaked themselves before the gun went off because they knew it was going to be a hot one. And the second pack has certainly run a bit conservatively. Ingrid running about 31-minute pace, not running that fast for the fourth and fifth mile, but the rest of the pack just let her go.
Marty Cooksey refuses to give up. Again, Ingrid Christensen looking strong, reading the tangents on the road. Marty, how do you translate the track time or this course time, road running time, an event to that in the track in the Olympics? These athletes who we're looking at now, Cooksey and Benoit, have a chance to enter that for the first time in the Olympics.
Well, Joan Benoit mentioned to me that if the 10,000 did get put into the Olympics in '88, she would probably run that instead of the marathon. So Joni is looking forward to being a 10,000-meter runner.
And the battle continues for second place, foot to foot, toe to toe. Catherine Switzer talked about what it was like to be in the middle of the race.
The fact that everybody else out there is probably hurting too, and everybody's in the same boat. You know, the weather isn't going to affect just one person out there. It's going to affect everybody. And you train hard for certain races, and you know, you just don't want to surrender before you give it your best. And I think that's what got me through the Olympic trials, was that I'd trained so hard for that event, and the adrenaline kept me going. I still can't explain how I was able to come back and run in the trials, and fortunately I don't have to, but that was just something that I'd set my sights on, and I wasn't going to let the opportunity pass me by.
And no question, Joan Benoit is a determined lady. You heard it, an operation right before the Olympic trials. It was a hot day that day. She decided to leave. She's not going to give up for second place. She's struggling with Cooksey. She probably knows she can't reach the top position, but she's strong now.
Just because you've washed your car doesn't mean you're finished. After each wash, you need some Armor All. On the dash, the bumper, and especially the tires. After all, when you're in love, what's a few extra minutes? Armor All. It's the finishing touch every time you wash your car.
When it comes time to sell your home, consider this. Only one real estate sales organization sells more homes, finds more homes, and delivers more successful transactions every day than anyone else in the world. No one's got the power to move real estate like Century 21.
Traffic got you down in your town?
I hate it. Like a parking lot.
Terrible. David Hartman looks at the future of America's transportation.
There's got to be a better way.
Wednesday.
Today's styling for warm weather.
Miller's Outpost.
OP. Cord shorts and screen tees. At Miller's Outpost, dare to be noticed.
The results are in. The certified public accounting firm of Braxton & Doss has completed a music audit of Austin's 3 contemporary FM radio stations.
All stations were monitored in the same 24-hour day. These are our findings. Station C played the most music. This amounts to 31% less talk in commercial time than Station A. Station C is KOKE FM.
The other stations offer gimmicks and meaningless chatter, but for music, turn on KOKE. We give you light rock and a lot more music.
The Action News Evening Report, tonight at 6, only on 24.
women's mini marathon from New York. It's the 15th running of this event, and Norway's Ingrid Christensen has led all the way. She looks strong, and perhaps the heat has cost her a record, but we're not sure yet. Stronger than ever and smooth.
She has really slowed down now in the second half of the race. For her third mile, she ran 5:03. Then the fourth and fifth were 5:12, 5:06. And she is really slowing down, but it's hot, and she really has the race won unless she totally collapses, because the rest of the pack is running for second place.
And there she crosses the finish line. And her time, 31.45, 31 minutes and 45 seconds. Isn't that bad? It's the third fastest time ever in this event. Now look at this duel all the way, it looks like, to the finish line between Cooksey and Benoit. Benoit number 4, Cooksey's number 17, and it's an uphill climb.
Well, they are on the finishing straight now, and the television camera makes this last straightaway look fairly flat, but in reality, it's a long, tough, 400-yard uphill climb, and it really helps to know where the little crests of the hills are when it comes down to a close race like this. Joni has been here before. Marty Cooksey has been here before as they make that final push.
Benoit pushing up that hill. Her injuries, she's put him aside. She sees that finish line. The crowd's there, and that crowd certainly helps. Cooksey right behind her, trying to catch, and Benoit captures second. Cooksey is second. Now let's go to Catherine Switzer with the winner.
And here she is, our winner, Ingrid Christensen from Norway. Ingrid, you said you were going to control the race from the front, and you did today. Describe your feelings.
Yes, that was I want to try to run ahead of Johnny and all the other girls, so I started a little too fast, I think, in this weather. But I feel I was in good shape, and I wanted to try. I wanted to try to run under 31 minutes, but it was too warm today.
Did you have any doubts out there when you're so far in the lead?
Yes, some down I had, because I feel I was so far ahead the others, and it was warm, and I feel a little tired, but I tried to push myself, and I'm glad.
Ingrid, I have never seen anyone read the course as well as you did, cutting the tangents and reading the course. How have you trained on this course?
No, I haven't trained. I ran this course yesterday, and I heard from Greta Weiss that she don't do that last year, so maybe she lose her first place last year because of that. So I always try to look forward and see 200 meters in front of me when I'm running.
And lastly, Ingrid, you have never beaten Joan Benoit on the roads. Is that a satisfaction to you?
It was nice to take her today. I'm glad.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll be back to talk to Marty Cooksey and Joan Benoit Samuelson right after this.
Oh, my arm.
Rub something on it.
I got Ben Gay. I don't want to go back to work smelling like Ben Gay.
Don't. Try Sports Cream. It smells nice and clean.
Does it work?
Sports Cream has a strong, clinically tested pain reliever. It starts to penetrate immediately to relieve sore muscle pain.
No workout today?
Sure. I feel great. Why?
You, usually smell like Ben Gay.
Not anymore.
Sports Cream, the fast-acting pain reliever that smells great.
Now, for the power computer user who demands performance, Radio Shack introduces the Tandy 3000, the more powerful and more affordable IBM PC AT compatible. Here's the power to manage your business, utilize computer networking, or create a multi-user system. The Tandy 3000, the power to put you in command. Tandy, clearly superior, in business, for business. Only at Radio Shack Computer Centers.
I have 3 grown children, one of them married, and I love Kellogg's Frosted Flakes.
Brave adults continue to challenge the notion that Frosted Flakes is just a kid's cereal.
Those my parents eat them. What if the kids at school found out?
Because you love them as a kid doesn't mean you can't love them as an adult.
With Dr. Coleman's help, we all can now admit we eat them, can't we?
With that extra crunch in milk, that frosting just right, that taste as good as ever.
Frosted Flakes good? They're great! So dig in. They've got the taste adults have grown to love.
Jack Nicklaus joins the ABC Sports staff with a special look at the U.S. Open Golf Championship.
Then Kentucky Derby winner Bill Shoemaker and Ferdinand head the field as we complete our Triple Crown coverage. Live, it's the Belmont Stakes. All next Saturday on ABC Sports.
And in second place, Joan Benoit. Joan, it was like the Olympic Games, only in reverse. She took it right out from the start, and you couldn't see her. Describe your feelings.
Ingrid ran a very smart race. I knew she intended to go out hard, and I was just hoping that she'd come back to us. And she came back a little bit, but not nearly enough. And I salvaged my race around 4 miles, and I'm very pleased with my second place finish.
Do you think you made a mistake by not going out with her hard from the beginning?
No, because I think if I had done that, I really would have fallen way back.
We'll see you again next year. And in third place, our dark horse pick, Martha Cooksey from St. Louis. Martha, it's been a long time coming back from a lot of injuries. Must be great satisfaction for you today.
It's also